Arsenal fans all over the world, I know you're excited, but I believe this is the best story that should excite Arsenal fans all over the world. Amidst the loss of Man City against Tottenham Hotspur yesterday, breaking the story of Man City being charged for violating the Premier League rules and they might be deducted off points, and Arsenal really get a healthy lead or a commanding lead at the Premier League table. I believe if you don't continue with this form, then you might fall off. But if Jesus is nearing return, that is the best news that every Arsenal fan would love, because I saw very many of you commenting in the comment section that if at all Jesus was around, you would have gone ahead to win that game of Everton. And you're right, because he would have disturbed that defense. He's the only striker that you've got who can get that ball and go past 3 or 4 players. You get? However physical they are, however tiny space there is, he can really create a moment of magic. He creates something out of nothing, from nowhere. So I believe this is the best story that you Arsenal fans should jubilate about. Jesus nearing return. He's on the grass and obviously showing his running, and his trainer posted a video of him sprinting, meaning that the knee is now great and he's nearing return. And you never know, guys, there is a shocking story that he can even be available for the game of Man City. How many days from now? How many days? 9 days from now, Jesus might find himself into that squad to face Man City at Emirates. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. There is an Arsenal interest for Mitoma, and obviously Ansu Fati at Barcelona being linked to a club of Arsenal. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, lower right bottom corner, that's the place to be. Smash the black button that has the word subscribe, and smashing it, hit the notification bell that will enable you get notified every time we upload a video onto this channel. Now, where should we start from? Mitoma, Ansu Fati, or Jesus? Let's do Jesus first. Steve K, a man that I really respect a lot in this transfer window, and he broke the story of Jesus that is going to return on the 25th of February. When you look at how everything is really panning out, it looks like he was right. This player is really going to be out, is going to be fit by 25th. Is going to be on the line and playing for a team known as Arsenal when they are playing away at King Power Stadium against Leicester City. Now, he has told us that Arsenal injury update, Jesus is back out training on grass and is on course to meet the timeline predicted for the end of Feb. And it's predicted for the end of Feb or early March. Emily Smith-Rowe could be back to play against Brentford this coming Saturday. And now, the last time I really did the story of Jesus' return, I think I presented you what I called the Insta story of Jesus. Now, Jesus has a personal trainer that really went ahead to put out a video, and we cropped out this photo of Jesus running, sprinting fast. That is Jesus as you see him there. That is the lad sprinting to get his knee to the levels of real fitness and really trying to get back to the levels he wants to be on. That is Gabriel Jesus. This is the best story that is going to happen to this season of Arsenal. Now, having lost to Everton, God blessed Arsenal again. They saw a team called Man City drop points at Tottenham Hotspur, where they went and beat Tottenham by 2-0. It shows you that if Jesus returns on time, he's going to really give Arsenal the trophy. His coming improves other players. You see, when Jesus is there, Odegaard is a better player, Martinelli is a better player, Xhaka is a better player, Saka is a better player. Do you know why? He's being mobile on the pitch, creates space for these people, and himself, when he gets that ball, he doesn't go for quick passes. He risks himself and he rarely loses that ball, meaning that he calculates his moves that are really going to create space for other Arsenal players to look better. I mentioned about it in the video that I did in the morning when Gary Neville was talking about how Jesus was a very pivotal player in the success of Man City. And it's now that he leaves with Sterling and Zinchenko that we now know that these players were really pivotal in the wins that Man City were getting season in, season out. So it shows you that what he was putting in at City is what he's bringing in at Arsenal. And you have every reason to really be happy for the news of this man coming in through, that is Gabriel Jesus. That's why I've told you that this is the best story that has happened to Arsenal ever since they lost to Everton. Because there have been two stories: Man City losing to Spurs, Arsenal maintaining its 5-gap lead against City with a game in hand. If they win it, they are stretching it to 8. Man City being being charged for breaching the Premier League financial rules. And if at all it's ruled and punishments are given, obviously expect them to go all out and find themselves in a position of getting close to 20 points cut off, meaning that Arsenal will be how many points? 25 points ahead of City. That guarantees Arsenal a trophy. Do you know why? United, a team behind them, will be 11 points, all 8. And that will be a battle between Arsenal and Manchester United. So I believe Jesus is needed for this period of time. He comes in, he gives you a drive, because however much is always on the touchline and keeps you going, there are things that Nketiah can't do, yet Jesus can do. So he's really the integral man into this Arsenal squad, and very few people will go ahead and really admit that Jesus is the most important player at Arsenal. Do you know why? Because they've seen themselves win. But Jesus has been pivotal in hard games that Arsenal can't win. I remember the game of Liverpool where he got that penalty, getting a concussion and saying, I'm returning back on the field of play to play the game of football and see my team win. The game of Wolverhampton Wanderers, he's the one who unlocks Wolverhampton Wanderers by giving a no-look pass to Zinchenko, and Zinchenko does a cutback to find Odegaard in the mouth of goal and really scores for a team of Arsenal. So in very many games, Jesus has been important. If you watch the game of Arsenal versus Everton yesterday, you'll know that you need Jesus to return to make your title winning hopes clear. So Jesus for you, and Emile Smith-Rowe is returning over the weekend in the game of Brentford that Arsenal is hosting at the Emirates. So that is for you, Arsenal fans all over the world. I think you've loved that story. Jesus is really back on the green grass and has been seen sprinting and is nearing his return. Now, I got this story from Football London. You know that website? It has very many correspondents, and Daniel Hargreaves is the man behind the story that Arsenal are reportedly planning another swap on Premier League counterparts Brighton and Hull Albion this summer, with Japanese winger Karu Mitoma attracting interest from the leaders, Arsenal. Now, is there any team that wouldn't like Mitoma? I don't know where that team is there, because the boy is really firing in goals. To be playing wide and scoring those number of goals is really a pass that takes you to Manchester United, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle, name it. And it's ridiculous that he was bought at only £2.7 million. Right now, it's said that Brighton could call for £100 million for Mitoma, making a ridiculous profit. And this team has really shown us that they've gone ahead to be good at making profits in selling their players. They bought Caicedo at £10 million. If they had not kept their stance of not selling him to Arsenal, they would have made a profit of £70 million. Arsenal was willing to cough £80 million to get in Caicedo. For Trossard, I think they made a profit of close to £15 million because they bought him around £5 or £6 million from Genk. Now, for Ben White, it's really ridiculous. I think they made a profit of like £40 million because they paid 50 to Arsenal. For Cucurella, I think they bought him less than £6-7 million from Spain. They made a profit of close to £60 million. That is Brighton for you. And they are continuing to go ahead and really make such huge profits of money. So for Mitoma to Arsenal, I find it unacceptable because Mitoma is not good. Is Mitoma really good as a right winger? Mitoma. Let me search a little bit here. Mitoma. SofaScore. I really want to know what are his best positions, because if he can play as a right winger, then Arsenal will go in for him. He's a left winger. So I believe this story is really having some loopholes for me. I see no way Arsenal will go in for Mitoma this summer, because this summer Arsenal need the following players. They need like 2 midfielders, a Xhaka backup, and a Thomas Partey backup. One will tell me, we're having Jorginho. No. Jorginho is for short term. They want to sign in players who are really 23, 24 years of age, who are really going to represent the best dream of the club. So they'll go for Caicedo, either Declan Rice, and maybe a Tielemans on a free. That would be bad for them. Then, after that, Arsenal will go in for a winger who plays on the right where Saka plays. I brought you a story yesterday that pre-agreement is really nearing between Arsenal and Marco Asensio. And there's a story I'm going to do later in the night about Marco Asensio that you guys are going to enjoy and love, Arsenal fans. It's really going to excite you. It's going to excite everyone about this guy, meaning that he's nearing coming into Arsenal. So the other one might be a centre forward. Those are the 3 positions, all 4 positions I believe Arsenal should really solidify or really enforce in the summer, or strengthen in the summer. A backup for Thomas Partey, a backup for Grant Xhaka. For Thomas Partey, the backup could be Caicedo or Declan Rice. For Grant Xhaka, it might be Yuri Tielemans. Then there is another player known as Bukayo Saka backup, and maybe another striker, because every elite team needs to be having 3 strikers, and Arsenal is only having 2, of which Jesus is really having a very huge gap difference between him and Eddie Nketiah. So close to 4 players, I think it's what Arsenal wants. The left side where Mitoma plays at Brighton and is scoring in goals has been really occupied by Trossard. So I don't see Arsenal spending £100 million on a player who is really going to be surplus to requirement. So Trossard, Martinelli, Emily Smith-Rowe, Reece Nelson, very many players into that position. I don't see Arsenal going out to spend a lot of money onto Mitoma. I believe it might be a story being put out by the agent. And on the other side, you never know, Arsenal might have gone ahead to inquire about him, because you know what Arsenal does? They really put out players like 3 or 4, and they have options. You might find that Trossard is a very good player, but they wanted Modric. Now, they might be looking at Mitoma as their new Mukalo Modric, and they can really get him to their club, because Mitoma is really electric. He's on fire, scoring in goals left, right, and center. Even in the air is good, because over the weekend, when they are playing Bournemouth, he scored that goal for Brighton that won them the game, and it was his aerial strength that really led or gave them a lead that they really wanted, and won that game by 1-0. So it shows you how good this player is, but I don't believe that Arsenal is really in for this player. That's it. Unless otherwise, but I see it as an agent talk to really boost up the name of Mitoma, because Mitoma is firing in goals left, right, and center. And I think his agent would love to get another move for this player to one huge Premier League side. So let's wait and see what is going to happen between Arsenal and Mitoma. And I'm going to be surprised if at all Arsenal really goes in for the player and really gets him in, because I don't see him as a priority for the club of Arsenal. Let's go to the Catalonia side. We are talking Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati, a player who hit the football stage at the age of 16, excited very many people, with me inclusive. And my girlfriend really told me, Rokani, that boy is really good. Look, he's young and he's really looking 16. So that is Ansu Fati. Now, a story coming in from Sergio Sole from Mundo Deportivo confirms to us that Bayern Munich are pushing a lot to sign Ansu Fati. 7 clubs have shown interest in signing him, including Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. Now, has Arsenal shown interest in Ansu Fati? That's another huge question. I might say yes. For Mitoma, I'll say no. But for Ansu Fati, I'll say yes. Do you know why? Do you know where Mikel Arteta was groomed as a player during his academy time? His La Masia project. He's a La Masia graduate. Now, when you look at Arteta, he knows what La Masia graduates really are in the game of football. They are technically gifted, they're having a very huge drive, and he might find himself in wanting to sign Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati looks a little bit off this season, and if I told you are Arsenal, this is the perfect time to go in and really get him in. I believe even that's why the likes of Bayern and Spurs are in for the player, because his ceiling is really high. Injuries have been injuries at the team of Barcelona, and by the time he was there to play, the team had lost its shape. They are not winning under Koeman, and he was sacked. Xavi comes in, stabilizing the ship, but as stabilizing the ship, looks like competition is stiff ahead. So competition is stiff as Rafinha, Dembele, Ferran Torres, Pedri sometimes played onto the left attacking side of the midfield. So that shows that Ansu Fati is really struggling to come into the Barcelona team. But I believe Arsenal might be interested in this one. My sounding reason is simple. This guy is young, 20, 21 years of age. Arteta, I think, knows that I can really clean him up. You get? After cleaning him up, give him a new mentality, and then let him know that, please, you can really thrive here at Arsenal. So, Ansu Fati and his agent have a very huge decision to make, because Bayern Munich is in for him, Tottenham Hotspur is in for him, Arsenal is in for him, and I read somewhere that even United is interested in Ansu Fati. So, for Ansu Fati, he's a player that can thrive on the right-hand side where Bukayo Saka plays, because I've seen him play as a left winger, as a right winger, leading the line. That is Ansu Fati for you, and he's hugely talented. That's for him. For him, I can really agree that Arsenal are really in for him, and they're willing to spend some money on him. His rate is close to 3 billion euros, but I think there is a huge drop-off on him. Barcelona needed to offload the players in the summer to really find a reduction on their wage bill that is really ridiculous, because when you look at the teams that are having really a huge wage bill, Barcelona tops it. So they need to reduce on the wage bill of the players, and they need to offload players in the summer, and you never know, that can propel this deal of Ansu Fati to either Bayern Munich or Arsenal in the summer. So guys, your thoughts on Jesus nearing return as he hits the grass running and sprinting, because last time he just showed us a picture of him just on the grass, but this time around we saw a video of him sprinting posted by his personal trainer. I think that's a very, very, very huge boost as far as this is really concerned. Then after that, we talked about Mitoma, Arsenal's interest for Mitoma, and lastly, Ansu Fati to Arsenal. What are your thoughts about it? There is Bayern Munich, Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, and very many teams interested in him. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly. Second video of the day, more 3 videos left, and I'm returning with the story of Chelsea. The manager of Chelsea, Graham Potter, looks like his days are numbered, because it's rumored that the owner of Chelsea, or the co-owner of Chelsea, known as Tony Boyle, is interested in Enrique, the former Spanish national team manager. You know him, Enrique. You know him. They're interested in him, and you never know what's going to happen. Is another sack happening in the Premier League after Lampard was sacked last week? Jesse Marsch was sacked today. Is Chelsea going to sack their manager? All that and more in the next video that is coming in the next 2 hours here onto the Rokani Media Football. I'll sign out for now. See you later. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly. Me out.